Folks, time for another video. Stay tuned, see what it's about. Thanks for tuning in. Jeff ArizonaHotHomestead, and today I got another video. Imagine that. So let's take a look at what I'm doing. These are in my pantry slash laundry. I did these built-in cabinets. And we'll put some shelves in there. And then I'm going to have some sliding doors in front, but that's going to come way later. So what I'm doing right now is I'm doing the shelving. So let's take a look at a little bit of what I did. First off, I came in and I painted this. I used some, I mean, you see just an 1/8 inch, I don't know, backer board or something, like what you would see on the back end of those bookcase kits. You buy them by the sheet, and so I cut them and I put them in place, caulked the corners, and then I painted them. The paint looks good. It actually, also, this stuff is pretty smooth, and the paint kind of makes it a little stickier, or not stickier, but a little rougher, if you will, so things don't slide on it as much. So here's what I'm doing. Here's the shelves here's the brackets I'm using for the shelves. I'm using these instead of something that comes out here, because normally there's something right here that blocks maybe the way something may sit in there. I'm thinking if I use these, I can kind of maximize my space, because the only space I'm losing is that little 3/16 of an inch there and over here. So I'm not losing much space. And but these, and here's what basically I've done. This here is a 3-foot section. So this here is like, what, 40 some odd inches or whatever. So what I did was I just kind of almost went in the center. So I've got about 3 inches down there and about 3 inches here. I think it's like 3.5 or whatever. But I pretty much tried to get it almost, not perfect because I really didn't care, but I wanted it to be about centered. So I did so. So now here's how I worked these out. I did this one first. I made my mark there. This here is 7.5 inches all the way across. Well, it's going in and out. So 7.5 inches across. So right here's a 2-inch mark, and right here's a 6-inch mark. That mark is supposed to be roughly on the outside of this, and that mark is roughly in the center of this. I did that just because I don't want this on the very end, and I don't want that on the very end, and I don't want them too close together, because then the shelf will just wobble. So why I came up with these measurements, I don't know, I just did. What do you, really? It's not time yet. He wants to go for his walk, his hunting. He likes to go hunting. Means we just go for a walk and chase rabbits. I know, buddy, in a little bit. In a little bit. No, later. Just relax. He gets so mad at me. He's so cute. So, where was I? So I got this one in place. Okay, once this one was in place, then I literally took a small level like this guy here and did him so that I can mark this side over here. So then I basically drew my line, as you can see, and I knew that that would be pretty much right on, and it kind of is. Then I put this one in place. Then I use this down here and put the screws in. You can see right there. Put the screws in place, and again, you can see it's pretty close. And same thing with the other side, pretty close. Put screws down everywhere that they're supposed to be. a screw hole. The screws I'm using are these guys here. I also picked up some 3/4 inch because probably 3/4 is all I needed, but I felt more comfortable with the 1 inch. The package of brackets, and I'll put a link in the description below, but I just bought this at my local Ace Hardware. But it only comes with 12 clips and a bunch of nails. The nails are fine, but those are pretty short nails, so I'm not using the nails. I'm using screws just because they'll grip in there. The difference really between the nail and the screw is shear strength. Shear strength meaning where the head is and where this head is. Here's a perfect example. There's a screw in there, but the head came off. See over there, there's the head? But that head came off. Basically, when I went to screw it, I actually lost my balance, and when the cordless drill bit or the cordless power tool went off to the side, it literally sheared it off. So they're not real strong. But when you have a whole bunch, it should be okay. I'm hoping it's okay. So then I double check this just to kind of make sure, even though this lines up, I still did this. I did another one down there, I leveled it, make sure it was all okay. Now I'm thinking, how the heck am I going to do this one to level this one with this? Man, I don't know. So here's what I did. I cut one of my boards, and get this. So this is 7.5, right? Which is normally a 1x8. This is a 1x8. Looks more like a 1x7 and an 1/8, huh? So it's a little smaller than what I truly would desire, but I'm not going to rip anything to the perfect cut. It'll be fine. I may paint these, I may not. So I took this guy here, and here's what I did. As you can see, this line back here, I don't know how well you can see it. It's going in and out a little bit, isn't it? There's a line across here, and there's another line there. Here's why. When I took this guy, I could set him here, and I'd hold it over here. I took my 2-foot deal and set them in place like about, say, nice and level. Then I pushed this up against the wall there and made a mark right there, the bottom line mark. Okay? That difference between this and this is the difference between this and this. So that 2 here is that. This happens to be about a 1/2 inch. So I went up a 1/2 inch, then I drew a line all the way down, took this off and measured the line itself just to kind of make sure that everything was, I was comfortable with it. I probably didn't need to do so, but it made me more comfortable. Then now that this one here is in place, then what I did, then I took another one, and basically with that guy there, what I ended up doing was just finding a level point and then marking it all the way up to the wall here. Then that allowed me then to go here and do the exact same thing. So then I level that. So now I have this line here. Then I did my 2 and my 6-inch mark just like it is over here. And that's only to be roughly the center of this and roughly the side of that. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, or at least I'm not doing it exactly perfect. So then I held this up drilled a hole in here with a 16th inch drill bit. Is it 16 inch or a little bit bigger? Might be a bigger. Might be, no, it's less than 8. I don't know. It's right around there. So maybe it's 3/16. So 3/16 drill bit I put in here and made it easier for these. So every one of these screws got a pilot hole of that drill bit, 3/16. So then I did this one, put this guy in place, put this guy on, this bracket on, so I could put the shelf back on and test the level, and it was perfect. So then I knew that this guy here was okay. Then I could keep this guy. So I went with the same level, even though I had my mark. And I did this to make sure that my mark is still in line, make sure this is in line with this. And I did the same thing with this hole. Then I put this guy on. Then I went like this. Then I went like this. And I'm like, that's pretty close. Then I took the shelf, I put it back on. Then I put this on. And then I said, alright, that's close enough. Then I went through and I drilled all my holes, making sure that we were okay. Making sure that we were plumb, if you will, on both sides. So there's holes drilled everywhere that there's supposed to be a nail, I guess. And that is cabinet 1, I guess, cabinet hole 1, whatever you want to call it, unit 1. So I'm working on this one. So I did this, see how I got my markings just like I did at the other place. See the marking, I don't know how well you can see the marking. It's not going to focus, is it? There we go. See the marking on the back there? There you go. And then this shelf here, and see I've only got one. I still have to do this one over here. But I got the shelf on here because I needed to make sure that it still lines up. That's close enough to perfect. See, I could go like that. See, like that's close enough to perfect. Now I measured it in the back, so it's mainly on the weights on these two brackets back here. So, and then I'll do this one. Now I'll double check my levels. Do it the same thing I just explained. We'll finish this one. Then when these two here are done, then I come up to the top ones. And these are longer. These are like 52 inches. So, no wait. These are longer. These are 48 inches. I said 36 before, didn't I? These are 48. The ones I'm putting up here are 36. But I think these are like 52 or something like that. Or 32. Or 36, 42, 45, something like that. Doesn't matter. They're basically going to be about center again. Yeah, so a little bit more than 48. But this is a little deeper, so they'll be a little wider apart, obviously. So let's finish this one, and then we'll move on to the other. I have my Ryobi light. And let me tell you, that sure does help, especially when you're trying to see the level. Here's my drill bit. And here's my screwdriver. And What's interesting is this big box had 40 of these 1-inch number 6s. And get this. This small container had 100. Oh, somehow that seems backwards. So I just put them all in there. And that's the size I'm using. Well, back to work, huh? Work, work, work. I like it. Stay tuned for an updated video on this. See you, bye, have fun.